When it comes to servicing your vehicle, would you rather have a team of one or an army of thousands? 35,000 hardworking specialists all across America. Because no one knows your Ford better than Ford and Ford Service.
Hello and welcome to another interview for the We Are NMSDC live stream sponsored by Ford Motor Company. Excuse me, I've been talking a lot, so it's affecting me. But right now I have with me Fred McKinley from Tuck School of Business at Dartmouth. I want to make sure I get that at Dartmouth because I kind of run it all the way through. So to start off, congratulations on your award that you received.
Well, thank you. It's quite an honor to be recognized by the U.S. Department of Commerce Minority Business Development Agency for the Ronald H. Brown Leadership Award. Ronald H. Brown was the first African-American Secretary of the U.S. Department of Commerce and served under first and only African-American Secretary of Commerce. Served under President Clinton from 1988 through 1996. He unfortunately died in a plane crash in 1996, but his legacy continues, and he was always an inspiration to me in the work that he did in setting the framework for the NMSDC's growth in other organizations.
So talk a little more about that. Like, how did he inspire you? Because I mean, this is a great honor.
Oh yes. Well, Ronald Brown, before he became Secretary of the Commerce Department, was also, I believe, the first African American to be chairman of the Democratic Party.
Wow.
And so that was a position that I'm pretty sure he was the first chairman of the Democratic Party. And he led that party with distinction. And so he really paved the way for a lot of blacks to get into politics. And I think you can point to Barack Obama's rise and ascension to the experience of Ron Brown at Congress. Correct.
Yeah, let's actually use that to segue into the Tuck School of Business,
Sure.
The minority programs, because it's people like that when we're talking about creating leaders. He's already in here, obviously, but using him as an example to create leaders within not only the government but also the business community. So, let's talk about supplier diversity in education and creating those leaders at Tuck School of Business.
Sure. Tuck is the oldest business school in the country, formed in 1900. And Tuck also has the distinction of having the longest running and the oldest academic-based program for diverse entrepreneurs. We started our minority business programs in 1980. And there's actually a connection there between Tuck and Commerce and the MBDA, because the early funders of the Tuck minority programs was the federal government through the Small Business Administration and what was called a different name back then, Minority Business Development. It became the Minority Business Development Agency. So Tuck is a school where we like to say, not just in the executive education programs that I'm responsible for, but for all of the Tuck programs, the MBA program in particular, that we're a business school that helps to develop wise leaders. And so it's not just a business school, because what we've seen, you read about it every day in the paper, is that business leaders are confronted with very difficult decisions on a daily basis. So it's not just about making the donuts, as they say. The business operates in a social and a political environment, and these businesses have a role to play in the issues that affect all of society. So I think a business school like Tuck, what I really admire about the Tuck School is that it takes into consideration the importance of all the totality of business, the social aspects, the political aspects, as well as, you got to do the accounting, you got to do the finance, you got to do marketing, you got to make money. But you don't do that in a vacuum.
Yeah, absolutely. It's interesting you should say that, because what I've seen, just from my minimal corporate experience compared to yours, but when you're talking about things like procurement, now we're seeing the move into like sustainability, right? So they're adding that to that to make sure that they're getting, like you said, that social aspect. So you're absolutely right.
That's correct. I mean, you meant Ford, for instance, at the luncheon today, had a very powerful video about the company and where it sits in society and the importance of not adding to the global warming. And, you know, what's interesting is that in many respects today, corporations are at the lead of social change for the better.
It's amazing.
And it is amazing. So, and it's good to see.
Oh yeah,
Because,
absolutely. No,
you know, without doubt, corporations can play just an incredibly powerful role.
Yep.
That, you know, and it's great when corporations and government and education are all moving in the same direction. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, no worries. So I wanted to get into, unless you wanted to talk a little bit more about it, but I wanted to get more into your programs.
Sure.
Yeah. So if you can,
And let me talk about the programs that I'm responsible for at Tuck School of Business in the minority business programs. We have a portfolio of classes. We have 3 classes that are designed for diverse business owners, minority business owners, and 1 class for corporate supplier diversity professionals. Let me start with the MBE programs, the diverse business programs. And our base program is called Building a High-Performing Minority Business. That's where in 1980, that's what we started with, which was building a high-performing minority business. It's a program that we call a strategic retreat for minority entrepreneurs. And what we do in that program is we cover the curriculum that you would find in an MBA program. But the focus is on the minority business and their particular business. So in the building program, we will have we'll have classes on accounting, on finance, marketing, operations, leadership, strategy, and communication. So we do that all in the time frame of 1 week. So the participants come and they spend a week with us in beautiful Hanover, New Hampshire.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I actually participated.
I know you did. You're an alum.
Yes, I am.
You're an alum. And when the students come up, you know, there's always a little bit of trepidation and fear. They say, where am I in an Ivy League institution? What are they going to do? Am I worthy? You know, all of that. And, you know, and the other things in the back of your mind is I've left my business for a week. I need to, you know, be in touch with them. I don't want things to fall apart while I'm up here. So there's anxiety about, you know, your business. But by the second day, what we see is the participants, these business owners from around the country, you know, diversity within diversity, African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asians, all as well as Native Americans and folks from outside of the country now who will come to the program. And by the second day, you see this bonding beginning to take place among the participants. They relax a little bit. We don't have tests. So if you don't have tests, then it kind of takes some of the pressure off.
Yeah, absolutely. You can learn without the pressure, right?
Right.
It's funny. I actually just was talking to Byron. He was actually part of my tech class
Okay,
today at lunch. So you definitely build those bonds. But for me, one of the things that I really appreciated is you do get that week-long, I guess, separation from your business. Take that time to really look at what you're doing as a business, learn from everyone else.
Sure.
And then, have them come in and say, hey, this is the step-by-step process on how to make that successful.
That's correct.
It's definitely beneficial.
That's right. So that's the building program. That's the base program. And after running that program by itself for a few years, we started to hear from our alum that they wanted more. And specifically, they were beginning to confront the challenges of growth either organically or inorganically. And we're looking for sort of assistance along the same lines that we provided to them in the building program. So we created a second program called Growing the Minority Business to Scale. So this is a program that says, okay, you've been to the building program, you've gone to your place, you've gone back to your place of business, you've implemented some of the things that you've learned here at Tuck. You've begun to see changes in outcomes as well as your processes and hopefully your profitability. And then you now want to say, okay, this is good. I want more. I want to grow. And so we come when we bring them back to the growing program. We focus on what that means. I mean, it's one of the things we know is that running a $1 million company is is not the same as running a $10 million company.
Absolutely.
And running a $10 million company is not the same as running a $100 million company.
It matters. That's 7 figures to that 8 figures.
Yes,
To that 9 figures.
it makes a big difference. You can't do it the same way because you will not grow the business. And what we also know is entrepreneurs are often their own worst enemies. They get in the way of their own growth. And what we try to do in the growing program is prepare the entrepreneur for establishing a corporate infrastructure that will allow them to successfully grow, and realizing that you're going to need people and resources that you may not have needed when you were a smaller business.
Yeah, I think the key there would be the resources. It's interesting. I've talked to a couple of people who are graduates of the program, and throughout all of them, they've all said the same thing, or they've all had this one piece in common, and that's partnering with other MPs.
Yes, right.
And I really like that you guys are emphasizing that.
Oh, no question. That's absolutely critical. So, that growth strategy, you can't do it by yourself. You cannot do it by yourself. That's right. So you need others, and means you need to inspire others to want to assist you, and figure out how this can be mutually beneficial to all of those who assist you. So the growing program is a program that we run similar to the building program. It's a 1-week residential program. The participants come up on a Sunday and they leave on a Friday, and they will cover again things like organizational structure and design. Because again, when you're working in a smaller company, you do everything probably. Yeah. Or you have to do everything, or you have to know everything. But as you grow, you got to give something up, and you got to give up. And it was really interesting is that when you go from a smaller business to a larger business, the things that you should give up are often the things that you enjoy doing the most. The things that you're supposed to give up, again, are the things that may have gotten you into the business. So, for instance, there's a sort of famous business story about the cookie maker. They got into the cookie business because they like to make cookies. They were good at making cookies. But if it's a business, the business isn't about cookies. The business is about money.
Gotcha.
And so making money is different from making cookies.
That's what you have to be focused on.
And so if you're going to grow, you want to have an organization that's set up to grow, then the organization has to be set up to make money.
Makes sense.
Okay, and somebody else can take care of the cookies.
True.
So that's the second program. And then the final program that we run is called Digital Excellence for Minority Business Owners. And that's a program that we introduced about 3 years ago, in 2015. And we partner with the Google Corporation. And that program is a 3-day program that takes place at Google. And what we've done is we've moved that program around the country. So we ran that first Google program in Cambridge, Massachusetts. After that, and we run that program twice a year. And after the Cambridge program, we took it out to Seattle. Then we took it out to Google's headquarters in Mountain View, California. Then we did Chicago. Earlier this year, we were in Washington, D.C. And we finished up this year here in Michigan, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at Google's facility in Ann Arbor. And that's a program that helps diverse business owners with their Google strategy, but also with some practical things. How do you get more people to look at your website? How do you more effectively use social media? What types of new tools are out there in hardware and software that an entrepreneur needs to be aware of and perhaps acquire and develop the capacity to use these things. So, one of the things we know about the digital space is entrepreneurs can spend and waste a lot of money on stuff that turns out to be worthless for them. It may be good for somebody else, but it ain't good for you. So we hope that this class will help entrepreneurs better use their scarce resources in their digital investments, and more importantly, use their time better
time out and definitely speaking to us. Is there anything that you want to tell us before you leave about business, about your time in Detroit, which my hometown, so I'm sure it's nothing but positive things.
Oh, your hometown. I love Detroit. I love this. This is not the first time I've been to Detroit, but every time I've come to Detroit, I've had an enjoyable time, and I've enjoyed learning more about every time I come. And I've had a great conference so far. I will say one more thing about our program. I mentioned the 3 MBE programs, but this year, or 2 years ago, we introduced the program for corporations. And so we have a program called Supplier Diversity Professional Excellence. And in that program, we bring in corporate people, corporate supplier diversity professionals and corporate procurement professionals, and give them a taste of a tough experience. That's an on-campus program, and we speak to them because they have challenges too.
Absolutely.
There are not a lot of places that can teach you how to do
build
this
a
well.
supplier diversity program.
That's correct.
That is very hard.
Yeah. So that's kind of what we do at Tuck. And this has been a wonderful conference, and this is my 16th conference.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so I've been coming for a while.
You are an expert. You are the expert.
Well, I feel like I'm getting to be one of those graybeards where I'm,
You're not that. You're good. You look good.
Well, thank you. Thank you. But this has been a fun conference and a great event, and it's good to see the energy, the reinvigoration of the council under the new leadership. You see the success already. I also give credit to the past leaders of the NMSDC. The councils have been blessed to have leaders who really cared about the mission. And so I'm very happy to see where we are as an organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much, Fred, for coming out and doing the interview. Appreciate that. And on behalf of We Are NMSDC Live, sponsored by Ford. Take care.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks.
My motto is design can change lives. At the end of the day, that's what I do.
So where can I see that?
This truck works for life and work. I named her Pearl because
I grew up
she's a rare
loving the
find.
outdoors, really fascinated by nature.
On the television show
The places in the wild that I loved were starting to get paved over.
And
it really struck a chord with me.
Ranger. My family still has
The
it.
implications
I love
of
it. It's the
climate
very
change are
reason
pretty
I named her
profound.
Pearl.
Climate change and all the things that go with it are really human rights issues.
So I bought Pearl because
The cost of
this
believing
company
it's
that
not real is
plans
just
Ford
too
has
high.
A story that I can relate to.
If we continue to be part of the problem rather than part of the solution, what kind of example are we setting for our children, our grandchildren? Are we doing things the right way? Are we buying from people that do things the right way? And if they're not, we need to help them change. When we started the sustainability report, and I think everybody thought I was crazy, Bill has finally lost his mind because he's published a report criticizing Ford. But it was important to own up to what we were doing well and what we were not doing well. We had the largest brownfield manufacturing site in the world. And now here at the Rouge, we've set very tough water usage targets for ourselves. We have a goal of using no drinking water in any of our production processes. My great-grandfather, back in his day, there was no term called environmentalist, but he had a goal of zero waste to landfill. Just as we do today, he just felt that nothing should be wasted, and those values haven't changed. For 8 years in a row, we've been named one of the world's most ethical companies. It starts with how we treat each other, and then how do we treat the communities in which we operate, and then ultimately, how do we treat the greater world? Really, at its core, mobility is a human rights issue. We have the opportunity to create a future here that will be clean, enable people to move freely around the world, and it'll be fun. We've had a series of evolutions in our industry. I believe we're at the threshold now of a series of revolutions, which will greatly alter what this company will look like in 10 years. We've come a long, long way, and we've got a long way to go. We believe that we have an obligation to leave this world better than we found it. We're just going to continue to march towards this goal.
We founded SomiConnect to help guide other businesses in establishing and maintaining cohesive, impactful digital brands. Our B2B business model was built on strong relationships and mutual alignment to drive momentum across all digital platforms, from search engine optimization and paid media to website design, content strategy, and social media management. Our name SomiConnect really gets at the heart of what we do for our clients, linking their businesses to their networks. We help them connect all of their digital efforts in smart, strategic ways for maximum benefit. An organization like the National Minority Supplier Development Council is an integral part of our success. We chose to get involved to connect with other businesses like us and to receive access to the resources of the community. And we felt that we could contribute our entrepreneurial and marketing expertise to the group as a whole. Our membership has opened doors for us at larger companies that are looking to work with a certified minority-owned business. I'm grateful for all the opportunities that NMSDC and all of our partners bring to the table for us every day. The membership has been valuable and integral to our success as an organization.
Diversity is who we are. We speak the languages, we live the culture, we have employees from 23 countries at Republica, and I'm very proud that as we've grown from a small startup to what we are today, we've always kept that as part of our culture of being inclusive, having women in leadership. We've created a new type of agency that's not only about media or only about creative. It's about that, plus it's about deep strategy and business advisory. And we mix that science and art in a really strong way. We're really strong at strategy, we're really strong at business consulting, yet we're able to win some major national creative awards. We live in an amazing cosmopolitan city, and from this city, our team creates incredible campaigns for our clients. Why don't we just drive around and I can show you guys Miami. I'm proud to say that a few years ago we were nominated by Google and we earned Corporate Plus status. That was a big moment for us. What NMSDC does is it opens doors. When you're able to say that you are a member of NMSDC and when you're able to say that we are part of the NMSDC family, that speaks volumes to the fact that you're a company that's doing things right, and you're a company that cares about its people, and you're a company that cares about its community.
I need a procurement specialist that can look beyond the norm. E-procurement that doesn't yet exist.
Before the Russians plant a flag in the damn moon.
You have someone? Avis is the gal for that.
Hi, I'm Avis Yates Rivers, the founder and CEO of Technology Concepts Group International, better known as TCGI, and I am a proud certified supplier of NMSDC. TCGI is an asset, expense, and procurement management firm, driving value and positive benefits to our customers every day. As a result of the NMSDC network, we have met with countless corporations and other MBEs with whom we've established amazing partnerships.
Since 2008, TCGI's clients have enjoyed greater productivity, profitability, and efficiency as a result of our comprehensive and innovative solutions. We enable companies, especially global corporations, to drive costs out of the procurement operations by simplifying processes, reducing the supply base, and efficiently managing supplier invoice payments. Because we are a service company and not a tangible product company, it is more important to take advantage of the face-to-face opportunities that NMSDC has to offer.
I encourage all minority business owners to invest your time and talent into NMSDC because the rewards, they can be great. We are TCGI and we are NMSDC.